Good afternoon, people. Watchwoman 65, Lisa Boyce here. Sorry about that. We have, I got a thing here about the annexation of, about Netanyahu and doing the annexation. He's getting ready to meet. It says, Netanyahu, Israeli officials meet with U.S. mapping for West Bank annexation. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Give me 1 second here. Let me get this together. It says here, at gathering in Ariel's settlement, Prime Minister says he will be ready to apply sovereignty immediately after maps have been prepared. This is what we were waiting for right here. The U.S. members of committee formed to map out areas of the West Bank that Israel plans to annex as part of the Trump administration's peace plan met Monday with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other senior Israeli officials as they pressed ahead with the project. Now, a side note, the rocket fire in Israel is going off the chain. It won't stop. I mean, it intermittently stops for a while and then it goes back into full swing. So I don't know what they're planning on doing there. Along with the earthquakes, we're getting a lot of earthquakes too. But I'm going to go on with this. Everything seems like it's happening today all at once. I mean, as time goes on, it gets worse and worse. Just keep looking up in the sky. But anyway, it was the first time the two sides have met to work together on deciding which areas Israel will extend sovereignty to, a measure tantamount to annexation. The mapping is underway to prepare the way for extending sovereignty on these territories, Netanyahu declared as the two delegations huddled together under temporary shelters amid pouring rain at the West Bank settlement of Ariel, where the meeting was held. He says that we will do this as soon as possible. We will do this as soon as possible, the Prime Minister said. Asked how soon after the mapping is completed Israel will apply sovereignty, Netanyahu replied, as far as we're concerned, immediately, and said he would bring it for the cabinet approval right away. And you know they're going to approve it. The American members of the Joint Committee are U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Freeman, his advisor Aryeh Lightstone, and C. Scott Lath, Senior Advisor for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict of the National Security Council. Also at the meeting were members of the Israeli Mapping Committee, Tourism and Immigration Minister Yariv Levin, and Acting Director of Prime Minister's Office Ronen Peretz. In Israel, rain is a blessing, and I hope that our efforts should be blessed as much as the rain is coming down right now. Friedman declared before the meeting started, the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem said in a statement, "We have our team here and we're going to get to work right away. We hope to complete it as soon as possible and complete it the right way." There's the rocket fire again. Rocket fires just went off again. Complete it the right way for the state of Israel. Netanyahu has said Israel will extend sovereignty to the Jordan Valley and other areas of the West Bank only with the agreement of Washington. Washington has said that Israel must hold off on annexing areas of the West Bank until the committee concludes its work, which could take weeks or months. Many settler leaders, he's not going to wait that long. Many settler leaders along the defense minister, Naftali Bennett, have been urging Netanyahu to immediately immediately begin the process of extending sovereignty ever since Trump allowed for it in the peace plan unveiled last month. But since Washington made it clear it wants Jerusalem to wait, Netanyahu has backed away from promises to speedily take the step. The Palestinians have rejected the U.S. peace plan, which envisions the creation of the Palestinian state in about 70% of the West Bank, a small handful of neighborhoods in East Jerusalem, most of Gaza, and some areas of southern Israel. If the Palestinians recognize Israel as a Jewish state, disarm Hamas and other terror groups in the coastal enclave, and fulfill other conditions. Now, from what we understand yesterday, the Palestinians might be turning around to this peace plan. So we're watching. We're watching to see what happens. I think they're, like Tim said yesterday, they're going to take this plan. The plan allows Israel to annex settlements, grant the Jewish state sovereignty over the Jordan Valley, and overriding security control of West and Jordan River, and bars Palestinian refugees from settling in Israel. Israel has welcomed the proposal. This is why he's not going to wait, because his committee in Israel wants him to go on with this thing. I don't think he's going to wait. Following mere moments after the peace deal unveiling on January 28th, Netanyahu told reporters that his cabinet would vote in favor of annexation the very next week. Friedman appeared to back that statement, telling reporters that Israel does not have to wait. Told you. Israel does not have to wait at all. When asked whether there would be a waiting period that would have to elapse before the country could extend sovereignty to the Jordan Valley and settlements. But a short while later, the president's senior advisor, Jared Kushner, possible Antichrist, I'm just saying. The peace plan's chief author apparently contradicted Friedman, making plain in a series of interviews that the White House expected Israel not to annex any areas before the work of the bilateral committee is completed. Friedman has since fallen in line with Washington's view on how things should proceed. Earlier this month, he appeared to warn the Israeli government against applying sovereignty over any parts of the West Bank before next week's Knesset election, citing Trump's mention of the bilateral mapping committee. I'm not suggesting that the government of Israel should not do whatever it wants to do. Israel is a sovereign state. In other words, they can do whatever they want to do. They don't have to wait on nobody. But people should know that if the president's position is simply ignored, then we're not going to be in a position to go forward. That's interesting. He said at a briefing at the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, a hawkish think tank, the president got up and made a speech, Freeman continued, and he said there will be a committee, and a committee will go through a process. The process will not last very long, but we want to go through a process. Friedman was referring to a statement Trump made during the festive unveiling of his peace plan at the White House. We will form a joint committee with Israel to convert the conceptual map into a more detailed and collaborated rendering so that recognition can be immediately achieved, the U.S. president said at the time, standing next to Netanyahu. I'm going to leave this article in the description box. He don't have to wait. He does not have to wait for anyone. And that's the truth. Israel is, it can do what they want. But it sounds like Trump has them by the tail. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I believe this is going to happen relatively quick after this election. The elections are a week from tomorrow. So we will see what's going to happen here. But in the meantime, I'll be back on with more. Have a nice day.